I'm sitting in a large truck in the middle of Bristol right now, in the centre of the Figures touring exhibition. The Figures project has seen me digging out mud from the banks of the River Avon and taking it to the Thames to hand sculpt 650 of these small clay human figures. Every one of these figures represents an individual at the sharp end of austerity, and I sculpted them at low tide on the banks of the Thames last month, day and night in all weathers, in an attempt to make visible the human cost of austerity. So every one of these figures has a story attached to it of somebody at the sharp end of austerity, whether it's somebody experiencing difficulties because of 0 hours contracts, healthcare rationing, or being on the sharp end of benefits changes, sanctions, and so on. Trying to get word out to the general population of what's been happening in recent years and the extent, the depth and the breadth of the impact of austerity on ordinary people. I think it's really important to do this project now, partly because we're in the run-up to an election and it's a time when a debate of this type is to the fore, and it feels really important to me to provide a talking point for people to ask some of the really big questions, both to understand what the impact of austerity is, but to go even deeper than that and look at the kind of values that permit austerity to take place and whether those are really the kind of values we want to be ascribing to and what kind of society we really want to be. So I'm doing it now because of the election, but of course it's a much bigger conversation than that will continue into the future, well beyond the immediate election. We've had an extraordinary range of reaction on the tour, and we've had an incredible range of visitors as well, both on the tour and during the making. So we have met people who are absolutely at the sharp end of austerity, people who don't have a roof over their heads, and we've also met people who work in the financial sector in the City of London who are doing very well for themselves and who have been, certainly thinking of some of the people we've met, incredibly isolated and insulated from what's been happening. And it's been an opportunity to have conversations with people across that spectrum and try and look at how austerity relates to them and what their role and responsibility is within that. And we've met people who are really interested, really keen to engage. We've met people who've tried very hard to hold it at bay or have maybe approached it very tentatively. So it's enabled us to have an incredible range of conversations and just to try and move people's thinking on a little bit more. I think if somebody wanted to create political art, I think fundamentally I'd say do it. Don't mess around, get on with it. Work with what your passion is and what you feel needs to be said. Do something that has a possibility of drawing people in, possibly to a subject that they're nervous of, to make a kind of a deep emotional connection. If you can kind of pull the rug from under people, then you can start to open up the conversation. And I think that's one of the things that I've been trying to do with this work, is to make a very direct connection to people.